Hello everyone, this is yours truly, J Blue 68. That's JJEH, the color blue 68. And this is a bonus video that I'm doing as it relates to the release of War of the Realms, Marvel's next big story arc that they're doing, which should take place over the next few weeks, actually the next few months, I believe, from now, which is March, oh my God, which is April the 3rd, all the way up until March, why do I keep saying March? I guess because we had a hell of a month in March in terms of the weather. Anyway, from April the 3rd, all the way till August the 9th, I believe. So this will be going on from April till August, spanning over a couple of months. And I'm doing two comic book hauls, actually, or a comic book haul and a half, and then I'm also going to do an artwork from the pages. We're going to go through or browse through some of the pages of War of the Realms, as issue number 1 was officially released today. I didn't have the comic book in my other video because I actually was showing comic books that were released last week and the week before that, which included Batman Detective Comics number 1000 from the DC world. Anyway, this is our first brief comic book haul, which features Avengers. And as you know, this month, and I'm extremely excited, we get the part 2 of Avengers Infinity War. Of course, it's not called Infinity War, it's called Endgame, which features this guy, the Mad Titan Thanos. And this is Marvel's True Believers, Thanos versus the Marvel Universe. And these comics are only like $1. And I like this little line he has here, "Come and get me." So nice little teaser in terms of the comic book realm of what's upcoming in the next few weeks. Anyway, let's move on. Next up, we have Avengers Nebula. Of course, Nebula is one of the daughters of Thanos, the one he beats up and abuses all the time. So I think this may be an origin story of Nebula. I'm not really sure. I haven't read it. I will be reading it soon. And these, again, the True Believers are only $1. Very, very nice. Price-wise, for those who can't go higher up in price when it comes to comic books. Next up is Conan the Barbarian, and this is number 5. Last time I showed number 4, of course. Conan the Barbarian number 5, and I love that cover, man. In the back, it's like he's riding inside of a boat with a bunch of dead bodies. Perhaps he's killed them. Some battle that took place between him and these guys that are on the boat. And it looks like he's in a torrential, am I saying that correctly? Torrential storm, as the waves are rising very high behind him. The tides are high, and he's trying to keep the boat afloat and keeping it steady and sturdy. He's bloody himself and bruised, so definitely a battle has ensued between him and these gentlemen laying dead before him. Nice cover. This is written by Jason Aaron, who's also the writer of one of the writers for War of the Realms. He's book number 2 of Prisoner X. And that's one of the daughters of Magneto. I always forget her name, forgive me. I think it's Lorna something, I'm not really sure. But yeah, that's one of his daughters. Prisoner X from the Age of X-Men series. And speaking of X-Men, here's Uncanny X-Men number 15. I think I might stop at book number 20 with this series. It's not that I'm bored by it, but whenever Marvel releases X-Men books, they release so many. Oh my God. I remember one time I was collecting X-Men books, and I mean, I was spending somewhere between $40 and $50 on comics, And that mainly was because I was trying to collect every freaking X-Men series and mini series and spin-off series that they had. So I don't know. We'll see. I might continue collecting. I might not, because again, once I find myself going right back into the rabbit hole again. But it looks like I don't know. Looks like a, what is that? Some kind of sound wave or something coming towards him, which that's Cyclops, by the way. So it looks like he may be battling Havoc. I don't know. I started reading this series and I stopped because again, there's so many X-Men books out right now, and I just showed you one a moment ago. So I don't know. Eventually I'll catch up on whatever the hell is going on in this story. But anyway, I like that cover. And last but not least, another X-Men book. This is Major X, a new X-Men character. So this is what I'm saying. See, once I get caught, and I love the X-Men. Once I start collecting X-Men, I just can't stop collecting the books with the characters. And they always introduce a new character that's of interest to me. So I want to find out what's going on with this guy. And on the cover here, we have Major X, whoever he is. Behind him, we see Wolverine, Cable, Beast. I'm not sure who that is. That may be either Storm or what is her name? She turns to ice. The White Queen, as they call her. And there is Deadpool, of course. So we'll find out whatever significance he has in this story. Major X, #1. Okay, so let's move on. Put all these back up here. Excuse me, Mr. Major. And you see I have the comic book stencil, as I mentioned before. Good way to display your comics, in videos. Behind here, I have a bunch of War of Realms paraphernalia. Some really nice, cool stuff. This is the War of Realms short box. Got a shadow going on there. And this bright light, hopefully you can see it. All the artwork, which is the same as the artwork that's on the actual comic book. Now, the cool thing about the comic book, too, and as you see again, same artwork. And the short boxes are cool, so you can store your comic books in. I did a video on that just the last week. But the comic book actually has a wraparound cover. Very nice. And just to show you some of the other War of the Realms stuff that I have, these are just previews, but all the previews have the artwork from some of the upcoming books that will be featured in the War of the Realms series. This is Diamond Comics Previews, which features the Marvel previews of War of the Realms. Same cover that I just showed you. And over here, move my hand out of the way, I actually have a War of the Realms calendar. Dig that. Isn't that cool? 2019 calendar. I just like having all the accessories and stuff like that. Like how women in their purses, they have to have the mirror and the lipstick and all the little accessories that goes inside of their purse. Well, I like to have all the accessories that come with comic books. I love that stuff. And okay, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the artwork here. I actually already have seen some of the artwork in the book, and I'm telling you, it is absolutely gorgeous. Let's keep this camera still here. I'm going to put this Mylar underneath the book. I don't like it sitting on the desktop like that. Always needs protection. All right, so let's open this up. Check it out. All right. Here's a preview here, War of the Realms Journey into Mystery. Written by the McElroys. A new comic book team. And I'm not sure if it's a comic book team of brothers or sisters. And here's the first page. which is completely black. And we have the word bubbles here. In the beginning, there was only darkness, the great unending nothingness of the yawning void. So this is a spoiler. If you all don't want to actually see what's going on in this comic book, I suggest you turn the video off now, as I'm about to flip through a couple of pages. I'm not going to go through the entire book, just a couple of pages, just to give you a preview of the artwork, which I love. I love art, and I definitely love comic book art. And we show here the different kingdoms as they exist. In the world of Thor. That's a very nice fold out. Kind of reminds me of something from Lord of the Rings. Okay. War of the Realms title, and we have the writers here and artists. As I mentioned, Jason Aaron is one of the writers for this book. I believe the main writer. Drawn by Russell Dauterman. Arthur Adams and Matthew Wilson are some of the cover artists, colored by Matthew Wilson, and so on and so on, etc. Some advertising here. And it gives a read on events that have happened previously that are leading up to these events, or led up to the events of War of the Realms. Some of the major players and characters. Blade? Really? Get that camera back into focus there. That's interesting. Ghost Rider. Malekith's forces. The heroes of Midgard. Midgard is our world. That's Earth. That's another word for Earth, in case you don't know. And the Asgardians, that's the world of Thor. Okay. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. The colors and everything. Check that out. And in case any of you don't know what's going on with War of the Realms, basically, most of the kingdoms. Oh, Stan's soapbox. Dig that. Another dedication to Stan Lee. Basically, the worlds of and the kingdoms of Asgard have gone to war with each other, have been conquered by Malekith, the Dark Elf. And the last realm standing is Midgard, as I just mentioned. Ooh, wow. Is the kingdom of Earth, or Midgard. And so Thor and the Avengers, the greatest, Earth's mightiest heroes, are here to protect us from the forces of from Asgard. And there's Loki there. Very bloody and brutal. Whatever is happening or happened to him. All right. And you know, I know that comics. I love the way they draw Thor in this book. Love the way they draw him. And the one thing is cool is that they don't try to have him necessarily look like Chris Hemsworth, the actor who plays as Thor in the movies. A lot going on there. And I haven't read the book yet, so. Advertisement for Cloak and Dagger, which starts tomorrow. Or I should say starts, April 4th. Thursday on Freeform. Anyone's interested in that particular TV show, which I am. Okay. And I think we'll stop there. I don't want to reveal too much. So that's it. That's all, y'all. I just wanted to show you some stuff from War of the Realms. Marvel's new story arc, which just began officially April the 3rd, Wednesday. Book number 1 is out. For those interested, let's get this camera focused on the materials at hand here. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up, share, and hit the subscribe button and tap that bell so you can get more notifications like this of cool content in the comic book world and the comic book War of Realms. That's it. That's all, y'all. Peace, love, and hair grease.